Hi there, I'm Sue Elvis from the blog Stories of an Unschooling Family. Welcome to my video. Today I want to talk about chores. Chores is a very popular topic. The most popular post on my blog is one called Getting Kids to Help with the Chores. And whenever I speak about chores in a podcast or write a post about it on my blog, people come and read. I think that they are looking for the magic solution. All parents are looking for a way to convince their kids to get on and do the chores. Seems to be a big problem. And I was the same. When my children were all very little, I read a heap of books. We didn't have the internet in those days, but I visited the library, came home with big stacks of books, hoping to find the magic solution to get my kids to help me with the chores. We tried all sorts of things, writing chores on paddle pop sticks, putting them into a container, inviting our kids to take a paddle pop stick or two, first in, first served. They could choose what they wanted to do. We also tried reward charts, the chore roster, playing games, trying to make doing the chores fun. In the end, I got fed up with all this because none of it worked. And even playing games. Sometimes I just wanted to say, hey kids, I need you to clean up now. Just got fed up with it. Just wanted the house to be tidy, for my kids to be considerate, for them to be willing to help me. And I don't think I'm alone. I don't think that I'm alone. I think that this is a big problem for parents. We want our children to grow up to be considerate of other people in the family, to be willing to do their share of the chores, to cooperate, to be part of the family team. I've read things online about how we don't have kids to do chores. This is right, we don't have kids so that they can clean up after us, help us run the house. That is not the reason we have families. We have our family to enjoy life with, so that we can enjoy learning together, becoming better people that we can love. We don't have children so that, yes, as I said, they can clean up all the mess of the place. My teenage daughter, Sophie, who's now 15, I interviewed her when she was 13 and we spoke about chores, and she said that sometimes it seems, in her opinion, that the kids get the raw end of the deal. They have to do the hard, dirty work of the family. The parents just stand back and say, hey, this is the work that needs doing around here, and I want you to, and they list out all the things that need doing. And parents don't actually do any chores themselves. And I know being a parent is a full-time, yet overwhelming job at times. And maybe I have been in this position as well. Getting on with the chores myself has seemed like the last straw. I can't do one more thing. I am so busy looking after my kids, it's the least they can do to help me in return. Yes, chores are kids' work. Well, I don't believe that at all. Anyway, I think that I found the solution. I don't think many people will like my solution because it is a rather difficult thing to do. Very simple solution, but very hard to put into practice. And whenever I have told people about the way that we approach things, whenever I have written a blog post, there is always some critics, some people who come back and say, that won't work. And they're not willing to give it a go. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about being a good example. I always talk about this. If we want our kids to do particular things, then of course we have to be prepared to do it ourselves. If it's not important enough for us to do it, then we won't pass on that message to our kids. So I'm talking about parents doing chores. But it doesn't start with just saying, hey, I'm going to help sweep the floor, I'm going to help clean the bathrooms. I think it starts with a helpful attitude. Now, quite a while ago now, it took me many long years of parenting before one day I sat down and I thought about the fact that I wasn't always keen to help my kids. Now, I didn't say that I wasn't willing to help them. Whenever they asked for help, I would just put them off. I wouldn't say, I don't want to help you. I mean, that's a bit blunt. It doesn't sound very loving. But the end result is the same. I would just say, in a minute, I'll help you in a minute. But I really had no intention of putting down what I was doing and getting up and helping. Well, if I did have the intention, it was just a vague one. I was more interested in what I was doing, and usually I forgot all about the request for help. And I decided one day I would experiment. I would catch myself. Whenever my kids would say, Mom, could you help me with whatever it was they wanted help with, instead of saying, in a minute, I actually made myself put down my book, put down whatever I was doing, jump straight up and say, hey, yes, I'll help you with that, and do it with a smile and with a willing attitude. And yeah, it took a while to break the bad habit, but you know what happened? My kids started to help me. Whenever I said to them, hey, would you mind picking up the toys? Would you mind helping me with these dishes? They immediately said, no, Mum, we don't mind helping. And they copied my attitude. They copied my willingness to help. And it was really quite remarkable. Now, of course, when you've got little kids and toddlers and babies to feed, it's not always easy to put down what you're doing because you're doing something very, very important. There's nothing more important than feeding a baby, seeing to the needs of a toddler, that type of thing. But we can still have a helpful attitude. We can listen to those around us. We can smile at them. We can say, I'll help you as soon as I am able. And to remember to do that, not to conveniently forget, to put it off, but to say, look, when I finish feeding the baby, I will be quite happy to help you with whatever. Or even if you play with the toddler for a little while, of course, I could get around to doing that for you. A reciprocal arrangement. I think that it's not all about chores. Being willing to help involves being willing to listen, to give up our time for our children, not just cleaning floors and things for them, just the general attitude. We're all part of the family. We all want to be helpful to each other, to listen, to make everybody feel important, to have that attitude where everybody is important and that we will give what is needed to the other people within our family. And so whenever anybody does ask me things, sometimes I'm not really in the mood for helping, or there's a million things that I would prefer to do. I don't always want to hop in the car and drive somebody to town, especially, it might be raining, I'm involved in writing a blog post. But if I do jump up and say, hey, yes, I'm willing, and not only that, afterwards when they say to me, thank you for driving me to town, Mum, I say, that was a pleasure. I was really happy to do that for you. And it's not the fact that I was happy to drive because, a drive is a drive. Some people like driving, some people don't. What I did enjoy, or what I do enjoy, is doing things for my children, whatever that is. Now, my youngest daughter, Gemma Rose, who is 12, a few years ago she said to me, as she was cleaning my bathroom, and I was probably in the bedroom next door, and she put her head round the door and said to me, I love cleaning bathrooms, don't you, Mum? And my honest opinion was, no, I don't like cleaning bathrooms. That's a very dirty job. But she liked cleaning the bathroom for me. I'm sure that's what it was. And yes, we can take pleasure in helping other people. But little children do enjoy doing things like cleaning bathrooms. And I wonder, when did their attitude change? Because it seems to me that somewhere along the way, little kids stop liking cleaning bathrooms and sweeping floors and washing dishes. they start to moan and groan and they don't want to help out. And maybe they're copying people around them. They're hearing what other people are saying about chores. And so they're picking up on this. They realize, well, begin to think that chores mustn't be something that's enjoyable to do because nobody else around says they like doing them. They've heard that chores are a big burden and it's something to be avoided. So perhaps if we kept that attitude up of, yay, hey, I love doing chores for you, they would keep their attitude of enjoying doing them for us. Just something to think about. So my children do chores, and they do them with a glad heart, and I try and do things for them with a glad heart too. I get involved with the chores. I have the things that I do every day. Usually I'm responsible for vacuuming the whole house, putting the washing on. We have certain jobs that we take responsibility for each day. But doing that, we also are willing to pitch in and help other people do their jobs. None of my kids ever say, look, I'm not willing to do this particular job because it's not my job today. That belongs to someone else. For example, I used to have a chore roster with a job on it saying laundry helper, mum's laundry helper. Somebody got the job each day of helping me hang out the washing on the line and then bringing it in at the end of the day and maybe even folding that washing and putting it into individual piles for everybody to collect. Well, one day I noticed that my laundry helper wasn't turning up. Well, she was turning up, but she was turning up with everybody else. Every time I get the laundry out of the washing machine, put it in the basket, and slide open the back door, the noise of the sliding open back door is like a signal. Everybody arrives to help me hang out the washing. It doesn't matter whose job it is. Everybody pitches in. And whenever I get through that door without any of my children hearing me, and they see me out there later and I'm just about finished, they always say to me, hey Mum, why didn't you call us? We didn't hear you. Why did you hang out the washing on your own? And I say, well, look, I didn't mind. I didn't want to call you. You were all busy. And they make a big fuss about it. Mum, you should have called us. We wanted to help you. Yes, kids are very generous. They do want to help. I think that we don't often or always give kids the credit that they're due. They're not lazy. They don't always want to try and avoid the work. They are beautiful people, and if we treat them with respect, with trust and love, and if we're willing to give to them what we would like them to give to us, then they will rise to the occasion. So, chores could be a family affair. Very simple idea. We want to do our kids to help with the chores. We must be willing to help them. It all starts with us. It doesn't start with paddle pop sticks, chore rosters, reward systems, elaborate games. It just starts with the act of the parent being willing to give, and to give beyond what is expected, to be over generous, because isn't that what we want our kids to be over generous? We don't want them just to fulfill what needs doing. We'd like them to have the attitude that they are willing to give beyond the expected, to be very, very generous people. Or at least that's what I'm hoping. And yeah, just a few ideas about how to get kids to do the chores. So if you'd like to read more about my ideas, my blog posts about chores, I have a few on my blog. You'll probably find the most popular two in my sidebar, in my most popular blog post list. I've also mentioned chores in a number of my podcasts. I have told stories about my kids, illustrated the points. So I would invite you to go over to my blog, Stories of an Unschooling Family. Scroll down to the bottom of the blog, you'll see a tab saying chores. Please I would invite you to come over. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I always like to meet people. If you want to stop by and say hello. You could also visit my Facebook page, Stories of an Unschooling Family, as well. If you've got anything to add to the chores conversation, if you've got some different opinions, or other ways that you have found that encourage family members to act as a team and to be generous, please join in the conversation. So I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and until next time, trust, respect, and love unconditionally.